Hey, welcome back everybody. So this is going to be part 2 of the rebuilding the 350 Chevy on the tailgate. So good news, I did get the block back from the machine shop. They've added everything, and I had them holding the block. They checked out the cylinder, and it turns out that the cylinders were perfect at the standard size, so they were able just to power hone them on a honing machine. Cleaned everything else up. So let me walk you through a little bit of this because there's still more we have to do here. So we got our block and heads and so forth back. Now you can see that it is considerably cleaner than it was. We got a really nice crosshatch in there because they honed it, although we are going to have to like final wash all this stuff because it's, you know, really not prepped to be assembled. I'll walk you through all that. The cylinder heads look pretty good. Now I'm going to do some more work on these. They cleaned them up and they kind of wire brushed some of the carbon off of them, but we're going to check the seats and make sure that they are all sealing, and we're also going to check the surface here. The rub on this is if the surface is straight, we're going to have to take them back and have them milled. Now I could have had the machine shop do that, but I didn't because I wanted to show you guys how that's done. Even though you may not be doing it, I want you to see it. Now the connecting rods and pistons, we had them clean them, take the rings off. They did mic the pistons, and they said that these pistons are like new as far as their size goes. So I talked to my buddy that I'm doing this for, and he's like, yeah, let's just go with those. They also checked the bore on some of these, or all of them actually, and they said the bores were good. This, like I said, this engine's in really nice shape. Now you could put new bolts in here and get these resized and put new pistons on. In fact, I would recommend that, especially if you're, you know, I don't know, it's up to you. In this case, my buddy who owns the thing he's making a decision, so that's the way we're going to do it. And judging from these parts, I think it's going to be just fine. So the crankshaft also, we were able to polish that. Now, if you remember, I told you guys on the crankshaft that we had like a 6/10,000ths under bearing from the factory. They make their own bearings, and so we're going to have to grind it. The shop polished it, and they used a pretty abrasive polishing method to where they were able to take a little bit off of that. We came to the conclusion that we're going to be able to use a 1 under bearing. They do have a 1 under bearing available that you can buy, and it basically makes your clearance 1/1000ths tighter. Well, between the 6/10,000ths under that it already was and the heavy polishing we did, a 1 under is going to get us our clearance. We're going to be about a little less than 2/1000ths clearance on the rod, so that worked out perfect. So we were able to do that without grinding the crank, so that worked out well. And the crank, like I said, it's in pristine shape. So also I want to show you some of the parts that I bought here. Okay, so we'll start here. Now to convert this block, remember we have the provisions here, up here, the machined area with the 2 bolts, and then the raised pedestals. This is the spider assembly basically that goes in here, and these 3 bolts here are going to bolt here, and they basically go down on top of these. This piece goes here, and that's what holds that roller lifter in line with the cam and keeps it from rotating. There is a flat spot on the top of the lift. That retainer is just going to go up over, and it kind of hooks into that flat spot, and that holds the roller in line. So you're going to need 8 of these to go along with your 16 lifters. So we purchased those. I was able to, a friend of mine had this. He had this stuff on the shelf. These are not new, they're used. You can get them new. These don't really wear out. Full disclosure on the lifters, I would recommend that you buy new hydraulic roller lifters. These are actually used, but they were out of a really low mileage engine. I think it only had like 40,000 miles on it, and it had an overheating problem and cracked the head, and the guy just turned the motor into my buddy. They put a new crate motor in it. Also the retaining plate, now this takes a special bolt. It has a Torx head on the end of it, and this is the plate that goes up on the front of your block here. And of course you can see the holes from the factory are already there, even though they didn't utilize that. And that's what holds the cam in. from walking out of the block. And then of course the rear seal housing here, this goes on the back of the block. Now normally when you buy one of these, a lot of times it comes with this. Ours didn't, so we purchased another one. We purchased all this stuff from my buddy. He had all this out of a Vortec engine. Now the camshaft is new on this motor. It was installed in an engine, but they never ran it. And this is a ZZ4 cam. So it is a, and you can look up the specs on that. It is a high performance cam from the factory. It's a lot better than the stock like TBI or Vortec cam. It's got a little more lift and duration, so it's going to give us some good low to mid-range power on this thing. Now the thing about that is, with this cam you cannot run the stock springs that are on these heads. You're going to have to get a what we call a Z28 spring. This is an Engine Pro spring. It's an RV943X, and you can go to Engine Pro's website. This is their logo here, and you can buy direct online. The bearings are 1-unders, and that is a 663P-1 and a 909P-1. We want 1-unders with them. If you need 10-unders, it's going to be 909-10. If you need 20s under, it's going to be 909-20. So the dash number is the size of the bearing. If there's no dash, that means it's a standard bearing. So we got rod bearings and main bearings. The rear main seal, of course, goes in that housing there. We purchased one of those. Now this here is an oil pump pickup tube. I recommend you get a new one of those instead of cleaning your old one. That's for your oil pump. And then as far as your intermediate shaft that drives the oil pump, man, I mean, make sure you get one of these that has a steel sleeve, not that crappy plastic thing that they put on. I do have an oil pump for this too, a new one, but I don't have it here. It's in my other vehicle. So basically I got oil pump drive, oil pump pickup tube, valve springs, rod and main bearings, and then of course all of this stuff here that's going to allow us to convert this to a roller cam. Now, so we basically have everything we need. My next step that I'm going to take here is I'm going to look at the cylinder heads. We want to make sure we know the block is good. The machine shop magnafluxed it and honed it and cleaned it. We didn't really have them do anything with the heads other than cleaning. I suspect that this engine got a little hot. I'm not sure, but I'm going to check the warpage on these, and if they need it, we're going to take them back and have them resurfaced. And I'm also going to have them vacuum test the valves, make sure they're not leaking. And while they're at it, they're going to magnaflux these to make sure there's no cracks. If there's cracks in them, we got a problem. So have the machine shop magnaflux the cylinder heads, check the seating, and then check the surface. And I'll show you how to check the surface. I'm going to do that myself here in a little bit. So I'll move some of this out of the way and we'll start looking at these cylinder heads. It's been a couple of days since the last segment of the video, so let me kind of explain this because these look different. So here's what I did. I took these over to my buddy's shop and he took them apart, but first of all we checked the seating of the valves, and there was a couple of intake valves that were actually seeping a little bit. He said they probably would have been just fine, but I was like, nah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna reseat these. So they recut the seats, and they also did a regrind on the valves. I don't think I need to show you those. Those are up in the truck. And also they magnafluxed them and they checked them for cracks. So the nice thing is no cracks at all. They magnafluxed out really nice. But I did discover something and I want to show it to you. All right, now this is a precision straight edge. This particular one is made by a company called Silver Seal. I ordered online. It's, she's probably 20 years ago. Machine perfectly flat. And normally you will put feeler gauges in here, but what I noticed is when I put this on here, I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up or not, but I can see in the center here, if I get down here, I can see light coming in under that straight edge, which tells me that that head is warped, and it's the same thing on both of them. So we're going to go ahead and have these resurfaced. I'm not going to take any chances. Now the rule of thumb is if you have 3/1000 or less warpage here, then they tell you can get by with that. But I'm not going to chance it. I don't think it's more than 3/1000, but I'm going to go ahead and we're going to have these shaved to make sure they're perfectly flat. Now, here's another issue that I would bring up, and that is you also need to do this straight edge check on the block. A lot of people skip that, but you don't want to. We want, and I've already done it. I did it on the block with filler gauges. I couldn't even get a 1/1000th filler blade to go under that straight edge on the block. So we know that our block is nice and flat. And again, blocks don't normally warp, but they can. So you want to make sure that you check that or have that checked. That's important. So I'm going to go ahead and take these over to the shop and have them resurface them. It's probably going to take them a couple of days because they're busy. And in the meantime, we'll get back on that block and start looking at the lower end of our engine block. All right, guys, so I took the caps off. Now you also want to think about these freeze plugs or core plugs. We want to get all those out and replace them in case they have pitting or something on them. We don't really want to have any problems with those leaking. So let me show you how we get those out. You want a chisel and a hammer and a good set of vice grips. Now you don't want to knock these all the way in. Just go ahead and knock the plug in. If you can help it, try not to knock it all the way in. And get underneath it. And just kind of pry that out of there. You might have to use vice grips on some of these to get a hold of them to pry them out of there, and that's okay too. That's basically what you do. You want to get all the core plugs out, or freeze plugs, whatever you want to call them, and discard them. All right, so now I've got all of the freeze plugs or core plugs, whatever you want to call them, the cam bearings. Now, more than likely, guys, you're going to have the machine shop you take it to take the cam bearings out because it requires a special tool. I have one. Most likely you won't. And then the block off plate for the fuel pump over here. Now, the nice thing about this block is if you look down in this hole, it's drilled all the way through. So this block could be used with a mechanical fuel pump. It's kind of a crapshoot as to whether or not the factory drilled these. This one's drilled, so you could go electric fuel pump or mechanical on this block. And it's a roller cam block, so that makes it really nice. Now that we've got all those plugs out, and like I said, you'll probably have the machine shop do that for you, we are ready to final wash this block before we reassemble it. And also what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have the machine shop put the new cam bearings in for you. That's something that's really important. So I'm going to final wash this block and I'll show you how we do it, and then I'm going to put the cam bearings in it. You can do it either way. You can have them even if they put the cam bearings in first, you still have to final wash it before assembly. Okay, so next, we're here at the car wash, guys, and you got to final wash your block. Now, you don't have to do it at a car wash. You can do it at home with a bucket of soapy water. I actually have some other videos where we're final washing a block. But you have to have some way to dry it. I like to use a leaf blower. I have a battery-operated leaf blower. And very imperative, you need to have a can of WD-40 to do this, because this block is going to rust almost immediately once you're done washing it. And you've got to get WD-40 all over it so that it does not rust. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I wash this thing. you WD-40 these home cylinders right away as soon as you drive. Because believe me, they will rust. Thoroughly oiled down with WD-40, really important. And that's it, that's fine to wash the block. We're going to wash the crank the same way, but I don't need to do it on camera. So yeah, now we'll head back and get the cam bearings in it. Also, when you're done and you got this thing covered with WD-40, make sure you put a bag over it and seal it. This thing becomes a dust magnet with WD-40 on it. And we want to leave that bag on there and sealed until we're ready to put this baby together.